Hello, everybody. Welcome to Art with John. Okay, if you enjoy my videos, my paintings, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing, sharing. It all helps with the channel. So, here, I was in one of those moods where I just wanted to paint. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going from lighter pigment to the darker pigment, and we're going to do a lot of trees. Now, you're going to see how this works here. Basically, I'm using ultramarine blue. I'm using a touch of cerulean blue, so two blues. Using a little bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of raw umber, a little bit of green in there. Also using, I did use a touch of pale yellow in here. So, boom, right away I went with the sky, right? Swiped the sky, put a little bit of yellow ochre in there. And mixed up the lighter green with the blue and put a mountain back there. So I'm barely touching this because I have a lot of wet paint on my brush. This is not cotton paper, by the way. So it looks muddy here, okay? Because in these little wells, I sprayed it with the mist bottle. But you're going to see how this turns out. Very interesting. Fun to do. Simple. But we're going to throw a lot of trees in here. And I try to create a little bit of distance. Just using a very cheap palette tray. You buy it at Walmart, and I have some leftover paints in there, so I'm still trying to figure the scene out. I'm using the large Ron Ranson Hake brush and the medium Ron Ranson Hake brush. In some cases, there's ultramarine blue. In some cases, what I'm doing is I'm mixing my browns and blues together, or I'm mixing a variety of colors together inside the well off to my right. Okay. So I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, where's the paint gonna take me? Okay. Because I want to push that mountain back, right? At the same time, I'm thinking, okay, so we'll make a little hill or a mountainside coming diagonally down to the bottom left here. But you'll see how it all changes here. Everything's got to change. And that's just being spontaneous and being creative. You'll see that burnt umber or the raw umber kind of yellow ochre-ish color right there. You can see the blue or the green I'm using is very bright. It almost don't look like a green there. I'm just playing with it, but this is in real time. Nothing is sped up, and like I do, I like to tap. So I'm just tapping along here. And actually, I'm letting the paint on the paper dry while I'm doing this. Now I'm setting up the scene for my trees. Okay, so while I come down to the right side, everything else is kind of air drying. Of course, I do have my ceiling fan on, which helps. But, okay, so now we're going to push some of these trees back. Now, we'll see how, first and foremost, I'm letting the brush kind of manipulate the brush on the hairs of the brush, to kind of manipulate the trees, right? The ends of the trees and such. So I'm coming back and forth here. I'm thinking, okay, Now how about if we put, maybe there's a valley back in here in this area. Okay. Now you could see the trees are being created real quick. Now, as I'm doing this, I want the closer trees to be more dark pigment, right? So with the card, basically I'm outlining my trees. Some of them just kind of scraping up, kind of like scraping up tree trunks, I guess you would say, and maybe some branches here and there, just to give an idea. But it's all going to fade away here. Some of it will. Okay. Now what I want to do here is, when I was painting this, was I wanted to mix up my blues with the greens, and even some of the yellow ochre and the browns. So now I'm using the card, I'm cutting along the side because this is my water now. I want my waterway to come this way. So I kind of want a shadow thing going on here, reflection, that kind of thing. So I'll take my brush and I'll come across this way. And you could see the thicker, the heavier pigment is still on there when I did that. However, this painting is far from finished. So grab just a touch of white there, not too much, just a touch of white. There's a little bit of yellow mixed in that, just to kind of get some ripples coming across here. And it's lightening up, it's pretty much lightening up the water here. Okay. So now we're looking at this, right? You could pretty much see everything, but the pigments are so light on the paper. I mean, there's not a lot of pigment there. It's like barely touched it. So I took some burnt or raw umber with a little bit of burnt sienna, and I made my little marks here where I want the landform to be. So with the card, I'm going to put in a fence, okay? And we're just going to come across with the card. While the paint's wet, you could do this. And just bring it across. We're not going to bring it all the way across because that would look kind of, Oh, I wasn't even planning on putting a fence in here, but I was thinking I want it to be a little bit interesting, you know. But when you look at it in person, your eye, the eyes are going different places. Of course, you see trees, but because of the tips of the brush here, they create their own images, their own textures, which is what I really like about these brushes. Okay, so I put just a touch of white here on a fan brush, right? Okay, so we're just gonna come across, and I misted the paper just a little bit before I started painting, and I forgot to put the clips on the end, and it didn't buckle, surprisingly. So now I have an idea of what's going on here. And in between here, what I am doing is I have a paper towel in my hand. So sometimes I'm coming to my paper towel and I'm wiping the brush off, the excess paint or the water off the brush. So that you don't really see in here. So with some burnt sienna here, I'm putting in a little patch of land right here because I didn't really want to make it a lake. And I want to make some color now. Now I want to start adding some things in here. So I put a little bit of green and a little bit of ultramarine blue in here. We're gonna make this look nice. And I love these binders, and this is the pale yellow. It's kind of like a lemon yellow. It's very bright, just here and there. One thing I really like about these binders for the watercolor paper is you can, I keep mine, they're like a diary, right? After the painting's done and dried up, I can tear it off there, or I can leave it on there. Now this binder here, I believe I have 300 sheets on it, and then I date the back of them, and and then I flip through it. It is it's the next size up from 9x12. Okay, 9x12 is what I normally use when I paint. I like 9x12. And then I could put an 8x10 matte on it, over it. So here, now I'm pushing in some darker colors. More fresh from the tube, even though they're just sitting in the little wells off to the right. And because they're not so wet anymore, now you're getting more paint, less water, right? So I can kind of randomly just go back and forth over these trees and in between, and I can bring them taller, I can make them smaller, and that's kind of what I was wanting to do here. Just putting in the greens, the blues. There's some yellows in there. I still have the yellow ochre off there, and have the pale yellow there. So again, in between, and I'm taking the card here. Okay, I'm putting in some rocks on this side. The fence line actually went into the trees. But, you don't have to, like, the trees don't have to be perfect, right? They're suggestive. This painting is suggestive. It's very easy to do. It's fun. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and maybe gives you something to, build some confidence on.